Hi, my name is Tracy Fortuny Howard. I'm an administrative assistant with Expressive Art Solution Counseling Center, and I'm also a certified life coach.
My name is Sharon Carter Sheridan, and I am an office manager for Judge Piper Griffin in Orleans Parish Civil District Court.
My name is Ethan Ashley. I have the absolute pleasure of serving as a nonprofit director. I also serve as a business owner and an elected official on the Orleans Parish School Board, and I represent District 2. Now, newly, I have the opportunity to serve as a fiance to Ariel McConduit, and that's probably the biggest thing that I serve on.
I'm Dr. Patrice Sams-Abiadun. I'm a sociologist, family demographer by training. I currently work with Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast as their Vice President of Strategic Partnerships for the state of Louisiana.
My name is Edward Anderson. I'm a professional musician. I'm a professor of music.
My name is Sharice Harrison Nelson, also known as Queen Reese. Professionally, I was trained as an educator and an anthropologist.
Professionally, I have a band called Blue Orleans. So I've been very, very active up until recently. This situation I am dealing with, or was dealing with, it's been getting much better. Really slowed me down for almost a year and a half. This was one of the scariest situations I've ever been through as a person. And now I've taken this experience and I'm learning to take this and use it to inspire others. So, you know, cancer is something that I don't think you're ever really totally prepared for this. And especially, you know, when you're young, you think it's going to be, you know, this could never happen to me. I wasn't aware if I was going to be here today. That was, you know, a very scary moment in my life because I want to see my kids, I want to see my wife, I want to see my mother and all my, you know, good friends. So it was very, very scary moment in my life, going beyond that, you know, talking about this experience and how it has changed me to be more accepting of what I'm going through, and also to understand that our time is limited, and this condition is not, you know, we don't know when that day is coming, and so for me, I really want to take every advantage of every moment of every day to hug and kiss my wife.
When I was diagnosed in August of 1996, it was pretty devastating because the month prior, my brother had been diagnosed with stomach cancer, and that meant that 6 of us in my family had been diagnosed with cancer. So my brother and I were going through cancer at the same time, and I became what's known as a Reach to Recovery volunteer. And those volunteers work with ladies who have been diagnosed with breast cancer to try to help them go through the process. And I found that to be very rewarding because unless you've walked in these shoes, you don't understand what it is to go through a breast cancer process. There are so many unmet needs and people who are underserved. And like I mentioned, the underserved community really needs help more so than those of us who have insurance. And there have been times when Hannah's Close Day Foundation was able to get individuals housing and assistance with housing in order to be able to get their treatment, because without the housing situation under control, treatment wasn't possible.
On my cancer journey, I was diagnosed in May 2017. Through my cancer journey, I decided that from the beginning that I was a survivor. And I never acknowledged the cancer. I acknowledged my health and what I needed to do, which was self-love, self-care. My cancer experience was very humbling. I'm currently volunteering at the Cancer Society. I'm also in the work of putting together a cancer support group for cancer survivors. Of course, anybody would be welcome. I find that being a survivor, rebuilding your life is a hard process. When you're facing cancer, it kind of kills off the old version of who you were in finding the new and improved you. It's a process. Resiliency means to stand strong. Life will throw you storms, and regardless of the storms, you just continue to stand and know that on the other end you'll come out better than when you entered the storm.
Well, it's interesting because this June 18, I will celebrate 7 years cancer-free, and I hadn't really thought about it. My cancer experience started maybe around 2009, and so I just encourage women to be their own health advocates. I think the most important thing that you can do is to take care of yourself. I guess that was what the awakening was for me, is to not as women just be resilient, especially as Black women. I want us also to take time to not always be strong. You know, we need to be resilient means to be human sometimes, I believe, and to rest, to do self-care, and so that's what resilience is, overcoming and learning who you are and becoming more self-aware.
So I was born with neuroblastoma, and you can imagine, as a young person born with cancer, I don't necessarily remember much. But what I do remember and what I'm clear about is I have a scar that spans from my spine all the way under my armpit. And this scar reminds me of not necessarily my pain, but the pain of my family. Because for me, I grew up with a strong grandfather who was a pastor, and an even stronger mother. And I will tell you that they felt the brunt of the battle that I had to endure in terms of cancer. And so my service in many respects is therapy. Like, I'm just trying to work through the fact that, why did God spare my life and not others? And so I spend a lot of time giving back because I know my life was spared in many respects. And I know that there's a lot of young people who, in real respect, they weren't in heaven asking God, please give me the sickly body, please give me the poor family, please make my life on earth much harder than it must be. No one in heaven is doing that. And so when you have young people who find themselves birthed into situations where they need a little bit more help because of their family circumstance and situation, it's up to us who have the opportunities and the means to be able to support those young people who didn't ask to be here. And that is why I serve, and that is what I seek to be able to promote and do every day of my life, is to support those young people and their families.
I went through a couple of years where I was constantly having to have biopsies on a different part of my body, and that was pretty scary. I always call it walking by the scary house. You got to pass that way. There's no getting around it. And you don't know if a monster's going to come out and grab you and pull you into the house, or if you're going to get to the other side and be, nah, I made it. But I would say, like, chemo, you ain't taking my hair. I'm not bowing down to you taking my hair. So I had my hair cut in a special ceremony, but before then my mother made little twists all over my head, and they cut the twist, and I sewed them into my suit. And the suit was Rise Up. So it's a rising phoenix, and it's actually my hair, because I said I need to go in warrior mode to kick cancer's butt. And that meant, I ain't letting cancer take my hair. I'm going to cut it so I could kick your butt. And that suit is so special to me. And people, my suits are entered in whatever, I don't know what you call it, art shows. And so whenever I would you have to put the materials, I would put human hair was always a conversation, human hair. And I would explain to them that the suit was Rise Up, and it represents me rising up over cancer. So I never let it slow me down. Well, I guess it slowed me down, but it never stopped me. We are all in this together as human beings. Yes, I am also the queen of Guardians of the Flame, But when I go home, I'm just Sharice. There are times when I am profoundly happy when I see the children of the young guardians running around and saying who they are. I'm the little queen, guardians of the flame. That gives me joy. That gives me joy. Hence, there's lots of cancer in my family.
So I just think that what Hannah's Closet is doing is very, very important because, women need support, or people just need support, when they're dealing with difficult health issues. And we know that your mental health really helps your physical health. So having your social needs met, identifying the resources that people need so that they can live whole and healthy lives is important. So I just applaud the work that you're doing.
I really believe in the mission of Hannah's Closet Foundation because it's important that women around the New Orleans area, especially those who are low income or underserved women, get services that they need. Quite often, foundations around the area may serve as research models, or they pigeonhole certain areas, but there are ladies here who sometimes can't pay their light bill, or there are ladies who can't buy food, or there are ladies who can't get to their treatment. And Hannah's Closet Foundation provides those types of services, the kind of services that the larger foundations don't provide.
The role that I'll be playing is a goddess in the Royal Court of Resiliency.
Tonight my role is a goddess in the Royal Court of Resiliency.
And it truly gives me joy to be the Queen of Resilience tonight.
Very fortunate to have been selected as the King of Resiliency, which means, it's a great honor.
Okay, tonight I'm playing the role of a goddess in the night in Egypt. And I think that's very significant because goddesses watch over people. And I like to think that I've been watching over all of my family members and women all over to let them know that breast cancer is not a death sentence, that you can live, you can survive, and you can thrive.
I have the absolute pleasure of serving as the Pharaoh of encouragement on tonight's festivities for a night over Egypt for the Resiliency Gala, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to serve and encourage. And if you haven't had the opportunity to LOL, which is to love out loud, please take the time to tell someone who's sitting around you in this moment that you love them, that they matter, and that you see them. Thank you so much.